Hello folks, today we'll be starting my Let's Play through Katawa Shoujo. Let's turn music up a little bit. Yeah, and we're going to do this. Mainly because I don't want to have to censor it. Actually, no, we'll keep it on, and what I'll do is I'll just stop and start back up at that point. Okay? Okay. So let's start this game up. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy. Freaking plain, what the hell? Far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? Sure, the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes, the note slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently fall from the white-painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Hi, is that Kim? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Wanako, I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it. I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result? Pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle if I tried. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst from my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up in the branches. The cacophonous? Yeah, we'll go with cacophonous. That sounds good. Noise is music to my ears. Wanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Is that? I reach up to try and massage my throat, but it only sends a spike of blinding pain along my arms. Is that? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Is that? The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak to the knees. The the world around me in the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Wanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last things I remember before slipping away are the sounds of a Wanako screaming for help and the incessant clatter of the branches above. This story, if you've never heard it before, it's so very powerful, I'm gonna say. I'm going to go a certain route. There are multiple routes you can take. I've already done this route, but it is, I'd say, the most emotionally, overbearing, and I like it. It's a good story. For now, I'm just going to do this one, but maybe I'll do other ones as requested. Maybe. But I'm just waiting for this to go through the opening credits. I'll take a drink. So if you didn't really understand that first part, pretty much the girl Wanako came up to who you are, Hisao, and told you that she liked you. And Hisao, the main character that you are, has a heart attack. It's been months. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. That whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. Strange word, a foreign, alien one, one you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. Said it was a miracle that I was able to go so long without anything happening. Is it really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. Didn't really do anything but to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. They already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came on a regular basis. Wanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. Never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. Let me move my mouse. We didn't touch a subject that was between us on the snowy day ever again. Hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. Doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. The faceless part comes back in when the shadow people come in. I'll point it out. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but he told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scar, but those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of an omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer. Sorry guys, I had to go eat dinner real quick. see, I'll still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows at least there's some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why. I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, though it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think it even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That's what life was like. The days became incredibly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mess I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes, I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness of my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There's this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers and then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. A point of the pointlessness that he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. "Hello, Sal. How are you today?" I don't even answer him, but I smile a little back at him. "I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medication sorted out. I'll give it to your father. I'll give your father the prescription." Doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. Take it from his hand and take a look for myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems unsurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. Can't understand any of it, attempting to only make me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life, every day. I'm afraid that's the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it'd be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please, calm down, Isao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? What? The way he says it to me, you know full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever my concern shows is ignored. We all understand that education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So, I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy. It specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What am I? It has 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try and disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and took a couple weeks back. I think you'll like it. Looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day. No, you're just gonna live off your parents' money for the rest of your life because you've got a heart condition. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited with the chance to go back to school. Remember, you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, special school. That's an insult. That's what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help one way or another. Your father's right. Many of the graduates at this school have gone to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I always thought my life was actually kind of boring. But now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now. Something how I can go back to school anyway. But no. I don't say anything. Fact is, I know. Now it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. Hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. Really? There isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try and put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. Let's try. Clean slate isn't a bad thing. It's all I can think of to get me through. Well, clean slate isn't bad. Disabled? No. No, not disabled kids. That's bad. See, nursing? No. Yeah. Live away from my parents, that could be good. But obviously he wants to live with his parents for the rest of his life, because he doesn't want a job either. At least I still have something. Even if it's a special school. It's something. It's a fresh start. My life isn't over. It'd be a mistake just to resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try and see what my new life will look like. Excuse me. Life expectancy. I don't know why this act is called life expectancy. I really don't. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. I am going to open up Google Chrome very quickly. Sorry about that. I need to open something real quick. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. Wondered if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but I couldn't really decide. Probably no. Not probably not, probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walk towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. Grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. Doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have, more like a park, with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh-cut grass and all other park-like things. The words clean and hygienic pop into my mind. Makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. Few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this was my new school, in the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. Wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kinda eerie. Makes me wish there was somebody here so I could anchor myself onto something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. Makes me think about hospitals again, how they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color. So, why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of the haunty building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It's the last chance I had to turn back. Even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous with this realization set in my head, I open the front door. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Nikki? Naki. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to class? I'm loving it. Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be the center of attention. Oh, of course, but not everyone likes to be the center of attention. Probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one that gives off the first impression of myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. Third door down, third floor corridor is marked as a classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step. I know that, but there isn't any point to worrying about it so much. At least it's not this soon. Follow the teacher into the classroom and look around, partially so I won't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. Some interesting people. They really are. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high and there's lots of space left over around in between the desks. An entire wall is taken up by blackboards on the high old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. Students' desks are just standard wooden desks with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames. Simple and efficient. Stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like students at any other school. But then why would they be here? Probably like me, they have something wrong with them. Except it's not only immediate problems. immediately obvious. Then, I noticed that one of the girls seems to be missing her thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. I like the guy in the back right. Yes, you. Fatty. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long, straight hair. It's pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. There's one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers in the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rims of her glasses, then nods back to whatever she's doing. She's kind of cute. So is this cheery-looking girl with the pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please, welcome our newest student. I mean, classmate, not student. He claps his hand, and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row only has one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks for this applause I did not deserve. She just starts, smacking herself in the face to clap. Oh, yeah! A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Saunaki. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. After that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied, even with what little I said. Though, a few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. Could have gone worse. Listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone, frickin' phone, shut up. Everyone seems to be listening to him Sorry about that. Everyone seems to be listening to him so intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. First row girl claps on this round with her one hand against her other wrist that ends in a bandaged stump. Oh yeah, I'm clapping now. Makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamachi. She's a class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know. And who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? Teacher passes out the day's assignments and announces that we'll be working in groups of 3. Hits me that I don't know who... Oh, crap. Oh, sorry, I was scratching my face. Hits me that I don't know who Hakamachi is. Slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh, right. Hakamachi is right there. She's an A, Hakamachi. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamachi, right? It's nice to meet you. Ha ha ha! What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Hakamachi. I'm Misha. This is Hakamachi Shi-chan. Wait, what? Like how it crosses out the name. Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. Looks like she's been staring at me this whole time. I'm going to stare at you. I saw... It looks like she's been... she nods once nonchalantly to show she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short, yet carefully, neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of a dainty nose, and large blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Hakamashi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. Start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, "You'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you than the deaf girl." I can see you're a little confused, right? But I understand why you would think I was Shi-chan. Shi-chan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you, too. That's such a weird voice. You're a new student, aren't you? Well, Shi-chan, of course, he is. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have been standing up there for no reason, right? Seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? I'm smiling the whole time I'm doing this voice. It's pretty funny. We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today so soon. He-chan, right? He-chan. Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits. You look just like I imagined. Yeah, you look just like a He-chan. Wonder why everyone seems to think so. Akamachi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other, excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. She made too many signs too fast. Sorry about that. Shi-chan wants you to know that she's class representative, so if there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had the time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with a hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks. That would be pretty helpful. Yeah. I just kind of came straight to class today. Ha 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 ha! That's no good. You should always try and learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. It's not just with school either. Always, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really, Chi-chan. Haha. Learn about where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that, or I just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with it half-assedly, but anyway. I don't say anything, and Misha signs something that ends in a shrug. What was that? Seems like something about me. I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deeply. You look down. You okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people be afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test. Oh, right. And another thing, you don't have to call Shi-chan something so formal like Hakamashi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shi-chan. The music stops abruptly, and she stabs me in the throat. Okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate. Yep, Shizune's fine. Okay, that'd be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly. So I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier, especially about Shizune, who I assumed would be all business. Well, she at least seems like that, just less so, I guess. That one's got an exclamation point. Huh? Oh right, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start work now or Shi-chan will get mad. And we will stop there for today. Save it. Create new. Okay, well, I will see you all next time.